Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the most wondrous, most righteous, and most powerful podcast today, The Real Short Box. And we got something special for you today. But before we get into tonight's topic, let me introduce my co-host. First, he is the chairman and CEO of Rumble Spoon Productions and The Real Short Box. He is a man of high character. He is a man that makes some of the ladies faint when they see him. He is the 2016 Best Dressed Man of North Hollywood. Ladies and gentlemen, he is DC Comics for life. He is the original Donald.
Thank you.
Next, we have a man of multiple academic skills. He is the High Sparrow of Texas. He is a man that young people look up to in learning the thespian art techniques of life. He will make sure that they get a job in Hollywood or Broadway. Ladies and gentlemen, he's huggable and lovable. Professor Chris D. Turner.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Keep taking those bows. Next, and certainly not the least on this podcast, he is a man who grew up not too far from Skywalker Ranch. He is a man of great skill, of great talent. He was the 2021 Daddy of the Year of Central California. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the president and CEO of the Black Adam and Luke Cage fan clubs. Give it up for Sweet White Chocolate. This is Jared.
That is a tasty intro.
Yummy indeed it is. And of course, I am your humble podcaster, the Grand Master of the Jedi and Vulcan Arts, your Supreme Chancellor, Dr. Kevin.
Kevin with cheese.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us again tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of debate. We were arguing over the past week over this topic. We're going to rank all 9 or 10, depending on how you look at Kill Bill, all 10 or 9 of his movies up to date. Jared, Donald, and Chris and myself, we were fighting in the text messages. We were arguing. I was rewatching some of these movies to try to prove some of my points of how I felt. And it's going to get interesting tonight because some of you in the comment section are going to disagree with us. Some of you are going to hate us. So I know some of you out there are big Tarantino fans and you consider yourselves experts in this field.
Well, let me step in here real quick. Now, as Kevin was saying, we really, more than any other subject we've covered, had the biggest differences in our listing of these Tarantino films. So, Chris came up with an idea to kind of do it by a point system. He'll explain it to you. So, there's going to be a lot of discussion, some anger, some happiness. It's going to be all over the place. But the point is, this was one of the most heated debates between the four of us I think I've ever seen. Chris, how did you decide after everybody gave our top 10 lists?
All right, so what I did is I used an averaging system. So basically I took all of our scores, put all of them down, and then I gave each of them a point. A point is like a point system. So based on the rank, it's how many points you get. So if you rank a movie number 1, they get 1 point. They rank a movie number 10, they get 10 points. And then you add all those, you take all 4, you add all of them up, and then you basically put them in order from lowest point to highest point. And I thought maybe we'd have some ties that, then we have to take okay, what's the more popular? Which ones were higher or whatever, for a tiebreaker, but we didn't have to worry about that. There were no ties. So it played out pretty well. And so we got our ranking of 1 to 9 for Tarantino. It's the average of the 4 of us ranking them.
Right.
And we did. There was a back and forth on this one as well. We did eventually decide to count Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 as one film because that is how Tarantino sees it. So his whole thing is he says he's going to make 10 films and then he's going to call it quits from filmmaking at least. So we figured, after some discussion that counting it as a top 9 ranking was the right thing to do.
Right. Yeah, surprise. One of the Kill Bills was not was like a difference between like Kill Bill 1 and Kill Bill 2. There was like a gap between them.
One was favored, yeah.
A gap of several wrong choices is why I like to explain it. Very wrong. I'm going to be very vocal in this, guys. Expect some dissent on my part because
ditto.
This list is horse shit.
Yeah, we might finally hear Chris say, "Shut the hell up."
So we'll see what happens here. Sammy, Enrique, Aiden, and Maria, hello, and thank you for being in here and joining us. Hopefully we get a few more people popping in. Sorry for the late start. Some tech issues as usual. That's just the way it is. It's life. I thought I could use my other laptop.
Tech issues like usual.
I thought I could use my other laptop. That did not work out. So we're back to the old laptop here for doing the program and running that. And it is what it is. So we're starting out. We're ranking Quentin Tarantino films. I see that each of you, besides myself, I unfortunately don't have a picture in the background because I want you to see my clutter that I surround myself with daily. Chris has a film, Kevin has a film, and Jarrett has something that resembled a film in their backgrounds. Ooh. So it's good to see. It's good to see some variety in there from you folks. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys for popping in here. And Aiden, yes, a good Easter was had. Hope you had a wonderful Easter as well, sir.
Easter, Passover, Ramadan. Hope you all had wonderful holidays.
Yes, Ramadan involved not eating for certain time periods, which is crazy to me, but hey.
You never fasted before, sir?
Yeah, I mean, when I had to have like medical procedures and stuff, but like for any other reason, no, never by choice.
I thought you were a spiritual religious man, that you fast at least once every 3 months.
No. Incorrect.
Wrong.
That would be the alcohol that you drink talking right now, Kevin.
I see.
Yes. And since we're talking about the alcohol Kevin drinks, let's talk about Splattered Frog Brewery. The Splattered Frog Brewing Company is a great company based out of the wonderful state of Texas. Splattered Frog Brewing. If you go to their website, splatteredfrog.com, let me put that up there. Put that in the chat. And you enter in coupon code SHORTBOX. That will get you 20% off your order.
Probably see the hat too.
No, can't see your dumbass hat. Just to get it out of there. Here's the right hat. This is what it looks like when you don't have one of those stupid backgrounds in the way. You just have the nice hat that you can show to the audience so they can see it properly. This is the way it looks. Now, I have a pin in here. This week I have a Necronomicon pin. It's choice. Last week it was a different pin, so I'm going to be having different pins in usually once a week or every 2 weeks or something. And that's why I love these trucker-style hats so much, is that you can put those pins in so easily. Makes it nice, and you can kind of decorate it to your choice of whatever pin you want. And Julio agrees with me, Kevin. Your hat is dumb, and your background is stupid. So, it's good.
My background's stupid? Oh, wow.
Jesus, that is a hateful comment.
Well, the virtual backgrounds, you know what I mean? They're kind of stupid.
Your background's not very diverse.
My background's not very diverse?
Yeah. Look, I got like 7 different colors. You got 2.
No, 3 technically. There is a Latino in there, brother. There's 3. Brown man.
In your background, yeah, I guess.
Oh, yeah, in the corner. Bottom. Top right, I think?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
If you want to hear the proprietor of Splattered Frog, he was just a guest on one of our audio podcasts, and it was a really cool one. It was a pick your favorite superhero one, and it's a good interview with him. So
Definitely
check
check it out.
One of you guys should put that in the chat so they can click on that. Maybe or copy it and paste it and find it later.
Already.
If you don't mind. So we're going to get started on this, guys. I want everybody in the chat right now that's viewing, if you will, go ahead and put in your favorite Quentin Tarantino film. I just want to kind of get a base for what everybody enjoyed the most, what their favorite Quentin Tarantino film.
Which one do you think was number one?
Not what they think number one is, but what their favorite is. That's what we're asking.
Well, that would be their number one. If they were ranking it, that would be their number
No,
one.
I'm at, yeah. If I would ask what they think is number one, that could mean what they think we chose as number one. So.
If you had to choose, what would it be?
There we go.
Pikachu.
Hey, Ricky. Thanks for joining, buddy.
What's up, Ricky?
Good to see you in here. Beverage of choice. Let's see. Since Sammy's in here, is the ginger beer that we're having, followed by the lemon probiotic tea in my Irish mug. So good stuff. Good stuff. Comic Bizzle, a.k.a. Hot and Cold Stuff. He says, geez, too many known fools here.
Ooh.
Thanks, John. Appreciate you. Golly. Yeah, that's true. There are a few of us that you know, and then a lot of people that you know in the chats, for sure. A lot of people that we work with are in the chats. Good Lord. Maria says, tough choice, but I think the Kill Bills are my favorite. So she's going with just Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2.
Not a bad choice, Maria. Not a bad choice.
Not a bad choice for a girl.
Well, come on now. I didn't say that. I didn't say that part.
Oh, you sure? Because I know that's what you said earlier.
Whoa. That's not true. That is not true, sir.
You said, watch, all of these B words are going to pick Kill Bill because of the female heroine.
Wow.
Isn't there a movie with female heroine?
I love all gender heroine.
Yeah. When it comes to heroin, I'm not too picky. Good Lord. We're messed up tonight. Oh, buddy. Okay, so we have one person to comment, which is fine. That's fine. Just so happens to be it's Kill Bill, which is the one that Kevin was so shameful about being sexist with, which is not unfortunate, but it is what it is, guys. We just got to move forward.
First of all, it's not true. I discussed looking for the whole bloody affair cut. That's how much.
Oh, yeah. I know why you said that, cut. Too. You started talking about, Yep.
You said, and I quote, Kill Bill looks like a bitch.
He
now,
did.
I would never disrespect the late David Carradine like that. Come on now.
Ricky chose some interesting ones. He says the Hateful Eight and the Inglourious Bastards. Two what I think are very good films, Ricky. Very good choices there. And we'll get into this a little bit. But let's start off. We're going to go... Amish, thank you for bringing up Four Rooms. I also very much enjoyed that. And I argued to put that in because there is a representation of Tarantino in that. There are vignettes, and he did direct one of the vignettes in there. But we wanted to stay.
Give a special shout out.
We wanted to stay pure to the choices of Tarantino writing, directing just one film piece, so to speak. So that's why you won't see that as being one of the choices in here. But it is one that I definitely think deserves recognition, and I am glad that you chose that. And yes, he is in it, and he's in actually my favorite one, too, my favorite short, with the finger. I love that one. I think it's great. Tim Roth is fantastic in it. I think it's a hoot. And those that haven't seen it, Madonna's also in it. It's kind of fun. But those that haven't seen Four Rooms, highly recommend that you check that out, particularly if you are a Robert Rodriguez or Tarantino fan, or Tim Roth fan, or Michael Madsen fan, or just Harvey Keitel, just a fan in general of good film, fun, quirky kind of filmmaking. Four Rooms is really good, so check that out. Sammy says Inglourious Bastards. John says Jackie Brown. Well, John, you got to be wrong about something.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Well done. Well done.
Got to be wrong about something. We'll talk about that tomorrow,
educated
sir.
Man. An educated man.
Yeah. I got your education, Kevin. All right, so let's get started. Since we combined Kill Bill and 1, it's no longer 10 films that we're ranking. We're ranking 9 films. So we're going to start with number 9 on our rankings here. And that number 9, let me pull that ranking up, and we will have that in one moment. Here we go. Oh, God. This makes me sick, even just putting it in there. Jeez. Okay. I don't know why this is so low. I really, really like this film. It ranked pretty high for me, not like up in the top 4, but I think I had it around 6 or 7. I think 5 or 6 actually, and that would be Inglourious Basterds. Was ranked at number 9. I don't know why it's ranked so low. So since I ranked it so high, I would like for the people that ranked it low to explain why they chose this one as a lower tier film.
I'll go first. To be fair, like I said there before we were talking off air, there's a few films of Tarantino's that I only saw once that I definitely feel deserve another viewing. But I saw Inglourious Basterds, and I remember everybody was hyping up Christoph Waltz. Like, he's just amazing in this. This guy has come out of nowhere and blah, blah, blah. I didn't think he did anything groundbreaking in the film. The story was okay. I didn't really care. Nobody, wooed me in it. Like, Brad Pitt didn't woo me in it. Christoph Waltz didn't woo me in it. The side characters were, I don't know. The movie did not do it for me.
Christoph Waltz as the Jew hunter did not do it for you. You didn't feel the ice in his vein. You didn't get a chill when he stepped on.
You didn't like his evilness?
I'm going to take a hot take for me. I don't think he's that great of an actor.
Ooh, wow.
You take that back. He was the best part of the movie.
Wow, Jared, my goodness.
Wow. Okay. Jeez. Also, this is a funny thing for somebody that has the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as his background, doesn't think that there's a groundbreaking or is anything different done in Inglourious Basterds, where he took a piece of history and rewrote it.
I mean, nothing got me hyped about it. I don't know. Like I said, I saw it once. It was a long time ago, but it did not make an indelible mark on me for his films. I had this at my bottom.
I have you as drunk on your bottom when you made your list.
All right. For me, let me jump in real quick. For me, it was a little bit different. I enjoyed the movie. I didn't think it here's the thing. I don't think Quentin Tarantino's made a bad movie. I just enjoyed it the least. Christoph Waltz, I've really enjoyed. The problem is 2 of his movies bored me a bit, and that was the one that bored me the most, and that's why it got last place, ranked last for me. I did enjoy it, parts of it, but yeah. So it had a big part in the middle there where I kind of got bored, and that's why it was ranked the lower for me.
I'll agree. I don't think he's made a bad film by any stretch. I don't think the film's bad. It just was not my cup of tea.
Okay, fair enough. So that's our number 9 choice. Wrongfully put at number 9. I had it at number 6 out of 10, by the way, back when we had it. A ranking of 10 films, and then later we combined the Kill Bills. But I had it at number 6. A very solid, middle-of-the-road film, I think, with a really good idea. I thought Brad Pitt was great. Eli Roth, I thought, was an interesting choice to be in there. And I thought he did an excellent job, surprisingly. I also very, very much loved Christoph Waltz in that role, and I think if it wasn't for this film, his acting career in actual Hollywood would be non-existent.
He wouldn't be Blofeld.
That's a fact. That's a
fact. He wouldn't be the new Blofeld.
No, he would not. To which I say that's cuckoo, Kevin. That's cuckoo.
For those who get the reference.
Number 9 was Inglourious Bastards. What did you guys think in the chats? As Inglourious Bastards, obviously, Maria had it right. She said y'all cuckoo. It's great. So she thought it was fantastic. Enrique said he's going to go with Pulp Fiction is his favorite, and Hot and Cold seems to, John seems to choose the same as well, Pulp Fiction, although he said if he could choose True Romance, he might do that also.
True Romance gets a full-on shout out, but yeah, he wrote it. But
just like Natural Born Killers, I believe he wrote that one too, right?
Yeah, but he'll back up True Romance. He doesn't want anything to do with Natural Born Killers, how it was interpreted.
I see.
Okay, so this one at number 8. Let me type this in here real quick. This one, I think rightfully, is a little high on the list as far as, like, it should have been last place, and it wasn't, and that drove me insane, because it is basically taking a lot from Inglourious Bastards and using it in a very similar way, just with a different backdrop, and I am amazed that people did not see that. So just throwing that out there, that would be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which sets at number 8 on our rankings.
Wrong. I think this was one of his most mature films. I had it at number 3 on my list, so I am.
Are you serious?
Yeah. He's serious.
Yeah, I love this film. I think it's great.
Kevin, you said to copy his list for your rankings.
I never said that.
Yeah, you did.
Man, you must be drinking too much then.
Kevin had his own list. Yeah, he had a list.
Yeah, I have my own list, brother.
Well, you never posted it in the thread.
Yes, I did.
No.
Yes, I did. Even Chris and Jared backed me up. They said, hey, you apologize. Then you apologize. Oh, yeah, my bad.
No, you never posted it.
Yes, I did. I got proof in the pudding. We'll send it later. I got proof.
Yeah, you send that pudding later with a spoon.
Okay, well, same, because I obviously love this film so much. I want to hear why you guys.
I will go immediately because I'm ready for this one. The same reasons why you voted Inglourious Bastards so low are the same reasons why you love this film. So obviously you have fallen down and hit your head too many times. I didn't realize this at the time, and I feel like it's my fault. I'm a bad friend for not course correcting you.
I had a head injury, and you're making fun of me.
I know. I should have gotten you the medical attention that was needed. But yeah, I mean, they said, well, let's rewrite the whole Manson history here in a fun and cheeky way by adding in this stuntman character and this star that doesn't exist. And
Rick fucking Dalton.
Yeah, let's have some fun with it. And as much as I wanted to enjoy it, I think I would have enjoyed it more if it was about 45 minutes shorter. The film drags on and on and on with pieces of clips of things that don't matter at all. In fact, literally most of the film does not matter. It just seems like it's disjointed. It doesn't feel like it's directed by somebody that knew exactly what they were doing. If he was doing a shitload of cocaine at the time, I would not be surprised, because this film just feels like it's the problem child of a drug addiction gone horribly wrong. And I don't know how. Like, Brad Pitt is very smarmy and charmy in it, but he doesn't break any new ground in this that he hasn't in the past. Having seen Moneyball, I feel like he puts a lot of that sly charm and coolness of Moneyball into this film. So it just, I don't know. It didn't jive with me. The story I thought wasn't good. I thought he just rehashed a lot of Inglourious Bastard type moments for a film because he couldn't quite figure out what to do. And that's my take. Anybody else? I'll keep my mouth shut.
I ranked it above Inglourious Bastards because it had Timothy Olyphant. That's literally the only reason. This is the other movie that bored me. So.
And Kevin, you had it as number 1.
No, I did not.
No, he ranked it last. It looks like he's
Yeah, I did. I ranked it last.
Hey, Dodgers818, thanks for joining. Christine, thanks for joining us.
Hey.
Maria says, Once Upon a Time, easily my least favorite, and yeah, it was similar with the alternative history, but Inglourious Bastards did it better. It had good moments in it, but the more I think about it, the more I really don't like it.
See, I saw it as
the thing I thought about
Hollywood. I thought it was Tarantino's.
When I was watching it.
Okay, Jarrett, why don't you go ahead and say what you were going to say?
I saw it as his love letter to Hollywood. Like all those like the scenes that seemed like kind of like that was Tarantino's brain. Like how he knows every obscure reference to every TV show. I do agree there were scenes that totally could have been cut. I don't think you needed to see a full shooting of a show. You know, I don't think you needed that. To the extent he went with it.
Hey everybody, my mom and dad is on. Say hello to my mother and father.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. And really quickly, Kevin, I noticed you didn't say hello, so...
Oh, I'm so sorry.
The amount of disrespect I feel right now is immense.
I'm sorry. I'm sending the link out. I'm sorry.
How dare you.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. and Mrs. McKinney. They know I love them.
You have to kiss the ring.
There you go.
Anyway, Chris, you were saying about what you feel about this film.
Yeah, so the first the first two acts of the movie, I had this weird feeling. I was like, this doesn't feel like a Tarantino movie, and it didn't feel like a Tarantino movie until the third act when it got to the house, and all that stuff went down. And so that was another reason why I'm like, okay, well, the other movies feel like Tarantino movies. This one, only like a quarter of it or a third of it felt like a Tarantino movie to me.
Yeah, it felt almost lazy in parts to me, and I don't like saying that about Tarantino. It just surprised me. That's all. And it is a very strong, opinionated film. Like either you love it or you hate it. Either you're a big fan or you're completely not a big fan. There's no usual middle of the road for this film. So that alone is one of the reasons why it was placed at number 8. Hello to Marique for joining, and also hello to Trevor. Thanks for popping in, buddy. Appreciate you.
What's up?
Welcome.
We're just talking about Tarantino's films, ranking them, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is not high on our list. So, at number 8, just above Inglourious Bastards, that's where that one rests. And we're going to move on to our next film here, which I think also should not be in this spot. I think it should be... I had it much higher, actually, surprisingly, just for the fun factor, but I'm going to bring that up in a second. Before I do that, though, I think Darren did send us something, a few pictures, if I recall.
Oh, is it his cameo appearance?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that. Here we go. So I'm going to bring this up on the screen here. Watch it. I'm just going to show you with my phone, make it a little easier this time.
And this was from, as you can see, the Bruce Lee scene between the fight between Cliff Booth and Bruce Lee.
Okay. And that is Darren right there on the end, smoking a cigarette, Darren. Naughty boy. But there it is.
They smoked cigarettes back then.
Yeah. And if you do watch that film again, you go back in and watch it, you will see he's very prominently positioned there in the background. It's a lot of fun to see him in there. It does kind of take you out of a film when you see your friend, but
I think I noticed him the second time. I was like, is that fucking Darren?
Yeah. In one of your favorite Tarantino films of all time, Darren's in it. Yeah.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you.
Yeah. So we're gonna bring up number, I believe this is number 7 on our ranking.
Yes.
Okay, give me one moment. Because, like I said, I had this one ranked much higher, which means a lower number. But yeah, number 7, Death Proof. This is part of the Grindhouse experience that Tarantino and Rodriguez did with Terror Planet and Death Proof.
Planet Terror.
About 4 to 4.5 hours of cinema, if I recall.
Yep.
very interesting, this combination. If I remember correctly, I went to see this at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood, and my buddy Tanner went along with, and he could not drive us home because the films gave him a migraine.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, because it was that many hours, and they crank up the audio really loud at the Chinese theater, particularly inside the one big screened theater for the premieres and stuff. And Death Proof and Terror Planet were cranked up to 11, I think. So yeah, it's an interesting choice. Death Proof, starring the name that everybody knows is Kurt Russell, of course, starring in Death Proof. I thought it a fantastic role for him,
So
and
good.
a lot of fun. I put this one actually on my list. I had it at number 4.
I had it higher up on my list as well. Not super high, but I just enjoyed. You saw it at the Chinese. I saw this at the Vista Theater,
Nice.
which is another old theater. It was such a fun experience, like seeing this double feature. The crowd was awesome. We saw it opening weekend. The films, the trailers for it, and everything like that. A real quick story. It was just hilarious being in the theater because my wife and I quote this guy still to this day. There was a guy behind us with his wife or girlfriend. Rose McGowan is in both films, and throughout both films, he kept going, what's the girl's name? And the girlfriend or wife was like, it's Rose McGowan. He's like, oh man, yeah, she's a beautiful girl, just beautiful girl. And then every time she was on screen again, he'd go, oh man, she's just a beautiful girl. To the point finally, the girlfriend went, can you stop saying that every time she's on the screen? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. So every time my wife and I would be like, oh man, she's a beautiful girl, just beautiful, just.
Oops.
Did they are they still together? Just out of curiosity.
That couple is still together, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen Rose McGowan lately?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to be mean.
Beautiful girl. Beautiful girl. Yeah. She was supposed to be in Red Sonja, by the way, and that film did not happen. It was supposed to be directed by Robert Rodriguez, and that fell through. So we could have, and we're very close to, a Robert Rodriguez directed Rose McGowan starring Red Sonja film. I believe, Kevin, didn't you and I both go to the panel?
Yeah, I think so. I think we did. Yeah,
I think we both went to that same panel. Trevor says Death Proof is his favorite Quentin Tarantino movie, and Caleb says he loves it. I think he loves the story more than anything, though, Jarrett. And yes, thank you, Caleb. If you guys, please, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, shoot us a like here on YouTube Live. Give us a follow also. Tell your friends about us. That's a big one. That's an important one for me. Just let everybody know in your inner circle, in your friend group, hey, these guys put out a quality podcast, a live show. Check them out. We'd appreciate it, and we appreciate you.
If your friends don't like it, put them in the back of your Death Proof car and just take them for a ride.
Agreed. So basically, Death Proof was, I know we didn't go into too much detail with the last two films, but they're very convoluted and kind of hard to explain in a way. One's the alternative version of basically Hitler losing the war, and that would be Inglourious Bastards, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the Charles Manson saga kind of unfolding in the background of a starring film for a stunt double and a fading actor. Yeah. So those are the basics, and an upcoming starlet actually. So that's the basics of those two. This one, very simple. Kurt Russell is a maniac that loves to get pretty women to get into his car with him, and then he likes to wreck his car because he has a roll cage on his side, and he won't get hurt. And he likes to watch the woman in the passenger seat get all bloodied up and crippled, and then leaves him for dead if he doesn't kill them himself. It's a very kind of a crazy idea, but very Grindhouse-esque, which is why Tarantino wrote the film and chose the film and chose an older actor such as Russell for the role, because that's what you would normally see in something like that. So it was very surprising that this whole thing came about, but it was a heck of a lot of fun to be a part of a double cinema event like that. And if you stuck through both of them, it was a nice treat.
And some quick trivia about that film. originally Quentin Tarantino reached out to Mickey Rourke to do the Kurt Russell part. And Mickey Rourke just didn't understand what he was going for, which I don't get, because it seems like, if anything, that's a total like random Mickey Rourke like story. And also, if Tarantino said like jump, I'd say how high, but he didn't do it. And I think we were better for it because Kurt Russell's so goddamn good in it.
And
then,
everything.
Yeah, and everything. And then the Death Proof title, this was a new one I heard. Tarantino was talking on a podcast. It came from Sean Penn. He was hanging out with Sean Penn for some reason, and they were talking about cars, and Tarantino said, I want to get this like classic car, but I don't want to like wreck it, and then I have to, do all this stuff. And Sean Penn said, well, why don't you just get a bunch of stunt guys to death proof it, and then you can like do whatever you want in the car. And he was like, Death Proof, that's a great name. Like, I like that. Like,
that is cool. That's a good piece of trivia. Thank you. Very cool, very cool. So number 7, Death Proof. Just an overall really fun, very solid film. Jarrett and I both enjoyed this, it seems. Kevin and Chris enjoyed it less. Why is that, gentlemen?
You know what? I enjoyed it. It's just when I rank all these movies, it's just kind of, for me, more or less middle of the pack. But, I have nothing against it. It's just when I compare it to the other ones, it just kind of falls for me in the middle of the pack. But Kurt Russell, he's the star of the show, no doubt. The lovely ladies from Rosario Dawson to some of the others, they're great as well. But it's just, for me, it just ranks that middle of the pack.
There's 2 reasons for me. 1, I like Planet Terror better. And 2, I forgot about the movie.
Really?
So that's why it was ranked where it was ranked. So I'm like, all these other movies, I remember. I've seen them multiple times. I forgot Death Proof existed.
Gotcha.
Isn't there a feature version of it too? Like, of each of those films, there's like a longer extended version of like, because they're all shortened a little bit to fit in with the Grindhouse thing. But I think there's like a longer Death Proof from what I
believe so, yeah. You can buy it by itself, and there was an extended version, if I recall. That came out not long after, because I think when they went to market them, I don't think they put them together. I think you had to buy them separately for that particular reason. It was part of that reason. Also, the marketing for it failed, and people didn't understand it, so it was one of the lower grossing films for Tarantino at the time.
Yeah. Which
is interesting because it's paired with another film that's also actually really enjoyable and a lot of fun. Particularly if you like Jeff Fahey. He does a fantastic job. I believe he's a cook, if I recall, in Planet Terror. And
he's great.
He did a really, like, say what you will, but he can really knock some out of the park when he puts his mind to it, for sure. Trevor says he watched the singular extended version. He needs to watch Planet Terror. Caleb says Death Proof is great until the very end. So, there we go at number 7. That was Death Proof. Now we're going to go on to number 6. Number 6.
Yeah, this one should be a little higher in my opinion, but it is what it is.
Okay, and I'm going to bring up the picture right now. Number 6, guys. Another Christoph Waltz co-starring film. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. And this is the one where...
I like Christoph Waltz in this film.
Yeah, he's great in this one. As
we
Dr.
get a
King Schultz.
Wonderful meme of what's his name there? DiCaprio, thank you. Leonardo DiCaprio. We get a wonderful...
yes.
There with the crying Jordan meme. I mean, it's like one of the most popular memes in the world.
Well, it's a very memorable character he played. Calvin Candy. Being a plantation owner.
Mm-hmm.
And then Samuel Jackson's great, too, as his, his number 2 guy on the plantation, Steven.
I always wondered about having to play that role. I mean, not having to. He chose to. But, like, that's a rough... I mean... That guy was evil.
Oh yeah, and if you think about it, he's the one who's technically in charge in a way, because Candy trusted him. He's kind of like the power behind the scenes. He would kind of whisper in his ear, "Hey, look out for these guys. Look out for this. This is how you should conduct things." He's basically the ultimate sellout. Like, he doesn't really care about his fellow Slade's like, hey, you know what? I made it to the top here. You know, I'm backing him up. So all the rest of you can go to hell. You know, I got my position. But he plays Samuel Jackson. He plays the role so well, so well.
It's an interesting idea with that character of somebody that has worked so hard for so long to get themselves in a position of power that regardless of how much change they can create for an entire race, you know, or at least a whole plantation, that they refuse that in their mind because they want to keep in power and are afraid that if they let that go, they'll end up back in that same lower position just someplace else.
Yep.
And you can totally see it and sympathize with it too. So he's a very sympathetic character in that way, but also a very good villain for the same reasons.
If anything, he might be the villain of the story more so than Candy. I mean, he was his most loyal servant and basically his best friend for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, it's an interesting relationship that he has with him, with DiCaprio's character, and also it's a very interesting relationship that that the dentist had with Django himself.
Oh yeah, they're a great team. I mean, they pair up together, and great job by Jamie Foxx and Christoph Waltz. And you know, and I love the fact they came in to bring righteous justice to the Candy Plantation. I love.
Yes, Trevor, it is an unfortunate that all the great quotes in the movie have the N word in them. So what we are going to do is we're going to have Kevin just mention all the quotes now and get those out of the way. So Kevin, take it away.
If that's the case, I'd have to do it for this movie. I have to do it for Pulp Fiction. I have to do it for Reservoir Dogs. I have to do it for various movies.
Yes, Kevin just would not stop tonight. That's all he would say. It would just be.
Especially Samuel Jackson. He knows how. He's one of the best proper cussers of all time. Like when he cusses, it's very poetic. It's very poetic the way he does it. You know, he uses all these different words as verbs, adjectives, nouns. It's amazing.
It's true.
Yeah, he's
it's true.
And also a stutterer in real life, which is interesting.
Jake Earl Jones.
Yeah,
Jake Earl Jones, also a famous stutterer.
Yeah, that's true. So Django Unchained. Jarrett, where did you have him placing this movie placed in your film list?
I had it. I had it number 9, so I had it like second to last.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
And Kevin and Chris.
This is one though. I will say, it probably is unfairly there because I only saw it once and I didn't really absorb it as much as I should have or could have. But like as we're talking about it, I don't have any like ill will or bad feelings about the film, and it makes me want to see it again.
Yeah, rewatch it over the weekend or something.
The one part that did bug me, but has nothing to do with the story really, was I don't mind Tarantino in his movies. I think sometimes he's usually pretty funny in them. His Australian accent was like, it was I was like, why are you doing, like, somebody needs to slap you, dude. Like, get you out of this scene. Or just don't be Australian. Like, come on, dude.
To be honest with you, when I saw him in that scene, it was just weird. It did take me out of the movie for a moment. I do have to admit that. I was
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's just so awkward him being here.
I'd forgotten about that, but yeah, totally understandable there for sure. Okay. Yeah. Chris, Kevin, where did you rank this film?
I had it at number 4 for me.
Okay, so pretty high up. Chris, how about yourself?
Professor Turner?
If you're talking, we can't hear you.
I had it ranked at number 7.
Number 7. Okay, so solid enough. I had it at number 5.
The reason I had it ranked
just
in the middle was because I liked the movie, but I like the other ones more. Leonardo was the first movie I liked Leonardo DiCaprio in. And so that was a big thing. I started liking him as an actor during that movie, but I liked the other ones more. That was really, I really like this movie. I just enjoyed the other ones more.
Marika has an interesting.
Oh, go ahead.
Marika has an interesting take. She says the ending seemed separate from the rest of the movie, so she thought it was just, it didn't feel like it placed within the film correctly. Which I could also see. This has that kind of ending, similar to Inglourious Bastards in that way, but not in the way that it changes history so much, if that makes sense.
Well, actually, another more trivia on this film. That the action stuff that happened, like the shootout and all that stuff, was not going to be as extensive as it was. And literally, there's a story too. It's Tarantino on like somebody was telling it of Tarantino on the set. He like took the stunt people aside. He took the effects people aside and the camera guy, and he was like, "Hey, you know what? I want to do this totally different." And he started saying all this crazy stuff he wanted to do. And they said you could see I think it was the makeup guy and the effects guy like get physically sick because they were like, "Oh my God, we're going to have to do so much different work. Like we didn't plan for any of this, but Quentin wants it now. So we're going to have to restructure everything." So maybe that's why it seemed kind of disjointed.
That could very much be the case because they weren't prepared for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
Another quick thing too, they kept it in the film, and you got to give props to DiCaprio for this. There's a scene where I think where it's like the first time where it shows him getting angry, you know, like usually.
Oh yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Slams his hand down on the ground or with the glass. He has a glass and he slams it onto the table. In the scene, it was a real glass and it broke
and cut him
and sliced his hand, he was bleeding, and he continued with the scene, and they kept it in.
He methoded it.
Yeah, Look, I mean, there's method and there's extreme, and that's just rolling with something that extreme happened to you. That's just the mark of a good actor, keeping that. So yeah, keeping form. Yeah, so very, very well done. So that was number 6, Django Unchained. So we're going to go to number 5. Now, number 5 being ranked so low, and by low I mean a number 5 when it should have been a number, I think.
A little higher. Yeah, it should be a little higher.
I had it at number 2 in my rankings, guys. I have this one way high up, so I love this film. I think it plays out like a wonderfully fantastic
great character development.
Play with great character development, great story, and just a mystery that unfolds. And that would be
The Hateful Eight.
Yes, so I'm going to put that in there.
And I watched the full, extended cut on Netflix over the weekend just to get a full taste of it. And they separate into 4 different episodes. Wonderful. I mean, from the minute that Sam Jackson's Major Marquise meets Kurt Russell's John Ruth, it just takes off. And then you learn a lot about Jennifer Jason Leigh's Daisy character. So it's cool. And then more people start coming in, being introduced. And then when they get to the inn, things get very interesting. So it has a little bit of Clue, a little bit of...
Yes, and this is why, Mom, I think I'd recommend this one for you, because I don't normally recommend Tarantino films for my parents, particularly for my mother. But I feel that if my mother hasn't seen this one, that I think she might enjoy it, because it does have that Clue-like mystery element to it that makes it a lot of fun. It's violent, but it's a lot of fun.
Well,
absolutely.
It's also like a play. I mean, it's pretty much like one, for the most part, one set.
Taking place in one area. Yeah, taking place in one set.
So the actors pretty much got to do it in that sense as well. It's a who's who all-star cast of Tarantino players. Like it's
from all of his movies. Yeah, pretty much. Michael Madsen,
Tim Roth, Kurt Russell, Samuel L. Jackson, and you got the great Walton Goggins. It's so many good actors.
Yeah. They bring back a lot of the greats. Like from his first film that he directed.
Yeah, Michael Madsen.
And brought them in. Yeah, and Tim Roth.
And Tim Roth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought about something, Jared. This would be cool if they actually turned this into like a Broadway play. It'd be kind of interesting to watch.
He's
on the stage.
He's Tarantino in an interview said once he finishes his films, he wants to do some of these as plays.
Oh, okay.
So he actually does want to do some of them as straight up on the stage.
Cliff says, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at number 8. That's it. Where's my harpoon? Are you upset that it's ranked so poorly, or that it's not at number 9? So let me know. Frisky here. So Caleb says, Kurt Russell does the best performance of a grown man with hurt feelings regarding the fake Lincoln letter. Simply amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. And also towards the end of the movie, where Walton Goggins wanted to take a look at the letter. I thought that was a pretty powerful scene too.
Yeah. Yeah, in Kurt Russell actually he grew the mustache and everything, and he kept it. I think he did another Western, if I recall.
Oh, wait, was it Bone Hawk something? Was that the
Yeah,
one he might
yeah,
have Bone Hawk, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was Bone Saw Hawkins or something. Bone Saw Hawk. I can't remember. So guys in the chat.
Bone Tomahawk. That's what it's called. Bone Tomahawk.
Bone Tomahawk. Yes, thank you. What a crazy violent film that was. But also another really good Western kind of film. Mom, don't watch it. That is great, but extremely violent.
Oh yeah. Oh my.
Yes, thank you, Maria. Bone Tomahawk. Yeah. Thank you, Caleb, as well. So, Hateful Eight. I had this at my number 2. I think it's fantastic. Like I said, I think every actor in this does their part perfectly and really shines. And
especially the little twist at the end with
the music, right? And the music, the cinematography, I think, is spectacular.
Excellent.
Everything, the sound design is fantastic. Editing is stellar. I think it's really, really good. Those of you that ranked it so low, why? I need an explanation. Why?
Technically for me, I guess I think it's number 4 if we, when we redid our rankings. So, I mean, it's not that bad for me. Still up there.
Yeah, I had it somewhere in the middle too. So
Okay. So it must have been Chris that really didn't like this all that much.
I mean, I ranked it number 6. It wasn't like I didn't rank it low. I ranked it probably the lowest out of all of us, but again, it's nothing against the movie. I mean, I love Walton Goggins in it. I think he's great, and I think, I thought it was a little long. I thought it was a little too long, and I don't know. It comes down to what movies that I like more.
Gotcha.
To be honest with you, this is basically Tarantino's last good movie, in my opinion, up to that point.
Yeah. Well, I could agree there. By the way, speaking of a hot take, we have some hot sauce. We have a hot sauce sponsor, halfshotsauce.com. Go to the website, type in the coupon code Donald Hiccups, get 10% off your order. They used to have a pickle hot sauce. They still do. It's called Trippy Pickle. They now have one called Killer Pickle. It is a hotter version of a pickle hot sauce. So if you like your heat, give that a shot. Also can try more Cowbell. Christopher Walken and Bruce Dickinson would both agree that one will kick your ass. It's got such extreme heat. It's the cock of the walk. So more Cowbell, Half's hot sauce, coupon code Donald Hiccups, 10% off your order. Check it out. Well, in last place, Murray, number 9, we did combine the Kill Bills as one film. So otherwise, Inglourious Basterds would have been number 10. It ended up at number 9. So that's how that worked. If that makes sense to everybody. Okay, so Hateful Eight was number 5. Let's move on to number 4 on our list. Okay, so this one Chris is probably going to be pretty upset about, and the rest of us will be like, well, yeah. So let me put this one. This is number 5 on the list. Am I correct?
5. 4? 5 or 4?
I think it's number 4.
5. Okay.
No, 5? Number 5.
Okay. Give me a second.
Oh, no, I think it may be number 4 because
it's number 4.
This is where Kill Bill Volume 1 was, so everything moved up. So it is 4, yes.
Number 4 on the list. Go ahead and mention it, Chris.
Reservoir Dogs.
Okay, so this is obviously one of Chris's favorites. So, Chris,
very first movie.
Let's hear about it.
It was my rank. I ranked it number 1. This is the first Tarantino movie I saw. First Blu-ray I ever owned. I don't know. Something about this movie I love. It kind of got me into wanting to make films. And so I think for that reason, that's why it was ranked my number 1. I I could just sit and listen to dialogue for the movie all day long. I think it's great. And my favorite of all of them. So that's why, yeah, definitely ranked number 1 for me. I'm not upset it's ranked number 5. There are a lot of good movies, and so I can't argue with it being, it's a personal preference.
Right. And this year is the 30th anniversary of this movie too, interestingly enough.
Number 7 on my list. I love the torture scene. I think the torture scene is fantastic.
It still holds up too. It's
Michael Madsen at his most maniacal, at his craziest off the wall, just enjoying himself.
Mr. Blonde.
And that song has no other meaning in my head now.
Oh, completely, yeah.
Than that torture. So every time that song comes on, just know that I'm thinking about torturing somebody.
And by the way, his character, Michael Madsen's character, is related to John Travolta's character in Pulp Fiction, the Vega Brothers.
Vega Brothers, yeah.
And by the way,
Tarantino, of course, lies about. He was supposed to have made a Vega Brothers movie a long time ago, but we'll probably never see it. 2
things. My mom and dad did very much enjoy Hateful Eight, so they did like that one. They did see it. And also, Caleb says to Chris, let's Kool-Aid man these idiots. Reservoir Dogs is top 2 at least. Get mad.
Oh.
So.
Oh, yeah.
I actually had it at number 4 on my list. So, and once again, kind of what Chris said about other stuff. There was just films I liked more. I love Reservoir Dogs. I could watch it 1,000 times. I remember my dad going, hey, there's this new hot director guy. You should check this film out. And I was like, all right. And like Chris and like a billion other young, actor filmmakers at that time were like, holy shit. Like, what did I just watch? And like, where has this guy been all my life? And the dialogue, the simplicity. Once again, it's a pretty, for the most part, it's shot in one set. So it kind of has that feeling of a play. And it also has that feeling of like, this is just based on the writing and the acting. Like, it's like there's not much else you need to do. Keitel is so amazing in it. If you want to do an interesting thing, look at Michael Madsen's voice in this movie. It's like a Mickey Rourke thing. And then listen to him in like the later films. Like, I don't know if he smokes like 12 packs a day and just drinks whiskey, but like he had this like smooth kind of, you're going to bark all day, little dog.
That's true.
And now he's like,
Harvey Keitel was very pivotal in getting this movie made. When someone, scripts get moved around town. Mm-hmm. When he got his hand on the script, he really liked it so much that he helped got the movie financed.
Oh, for 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Harvey Keitel, very critical to getting this movie even made.
Also, a very critical role in Pulp Fiction as the cleaner, so to speak, in that film as well. A very good role for him also. When you're talking about just general roles in films, one that he chews up the scenery, and he's quite memorable in both.
And Steve Buscemi, can't forget about him as Mr. Pink. Mr. Pink, he's great. I love Steve Buscemi's character, especially when he was being such a jerk at the breakfast scene about tipping. He was talking about that. I don't tip, I don't think it should matter. He was giving his whole logic behind why do we tip for this, but we don't tip for that.
Yeah.
Chris Penn is as nice guy Eddie and his suits and all that. Yeah.
Caleb has another comment. He says, Pulp Fiction deleted scene says Susan Vega is Vincent's cousin.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct.
So there's that. So that was number 4, Reservoir Dogs. Let me pull up number 3. Give me a moment for that. Number 3.
This is while you're doing that. Let me just say that the difference between 3, 4, and 5 were 3 points. And the difference between this and what was Kill Bill Volume 1 was 1 point, so that was very close.
So number 3. Very high for most people except for me. Jackie Brown.
Yes, I love Jackie Brown. I'll fight Donald right now if necessary to tell him how good this movie is.
I'd love to hear why you think this film is so good, because I fell asleep.
Let's start with the music. Great music. The Delphonics, all the different soundtracks that they played. Great music.
You listen to the Delphonics?
Oh, yeah. The actors, Pam Grier, I think we were talking about this off camera or outside this. Pam Grier is great in this. She embodies the role of Jackie Brown. unlike when she did her roles in the 70s where people were kind of just looking at her body, you know, and things of that nature, people forgot about she was a good actress. And here she really chews up the scene. Every scene she's in, she chews it up. Pam Grier just rocks this movie. Great. She should have gotten an Academy nomination for this. I know Robert Forster did, but she was great as Max Cherry. But her character is much smarter than people gave her credit for, because she's just, you know, this airline stewardess or flight attendant. So she was underestimated by the FBI, estimated by Samuel Jackson's character Ordo Robbie, and even estimated by Max Cherry a little bit until he finally picked up on her and gained her respect. So it's just really good all around. Definitely love Michael Keaton as the agent, Ray Nicolette. Chris Tucker, you know, he has some small scene there, which was pretty cool that he was in. Robert De Niro quietly was good. It's towards the end, the second half, he got better. And then Bridget Fonda is pretty good as Melanie Ralston, as just being like the girlfriend, is just kind of hanging her out in the apartment. But just, I like the little conspiracy. Everyone's trying to outsmart everyone. But the thing is, Pam Grier comes out on top. She gets the money and she walks away as the winner. I love it.
Yes. A nice piece of trivia here. Robert Forster and Pam Grier became really good friends after this. So much so to the point that Robert Forster, one of the last things he did before he passed was the night before he passed on, he had texted Pam and said there was a really nice restaurant that he went for breakfast and he thought she would love, and they should go there when she's back in town.
Oh.
So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Created a wonderful friendship for those two, which is very nice to hear. A few comments. Brody says, Pam Grier, need I say more? Caleb says, Jackie Brown is an OCD's nightmare, wanted to snip off Sam's little beard and straighten out Pam's crooked mouth. Sorry, not sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Marique says, yeah, it's a pretty fantastic movie, though I can see how the plot would be hard to follow. And Brody says he was awesome in Breaking Bad also.
Plus, you know what's funny? This is Tarantino's least bloodiest movie. Like, there's not that much blood in this movie.
No.
There's no gore at all.
There's not, and there's just I don't know. I got to revisit it, guys. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Well, speaking of revisiting, I went 360 on this one. I saw this, and it was like that follow-up. This is the same thing that happened with the Big Lebowski. I saw that after Fargo, and I thought Fargo was a masterpiece. I still think it is. So I was like, what the hell is this fucking Lebowski film? Now I love it. Jackie Brown was the same thing. It was the follow-up to Pulp Fiction, and Pulp Fiction was like Tarantino at his, brightest. And I was like, this is a really like slow-moving story, a lot of just dialogue. Like, I don't know about this film. Saw it maybe in the last 2 years, and I was like, holy shit, that film, it's very mature. Like for Tarantino, it's like, it showed that he didn't have to rely on just his tropes of like ultra violence. Mm-hmm. And the character, I think it's Samuel Jackson's one of his best performances, period. I think that character is awesome.
Oh yeah. He's great.
Snakes on a Plane.
I mean, maybe not one of the best lines. I mean, that's one of the best lines. But yeah, I mean, I think the reason like the pacing of the story is because it was based off of an Elmore Leonard book. So it's like it wasn't really Tarantino shaping it. It was Tarantino shaping it around another story that had already been done.
That can make sense. Oh, Kevin, I'm glad that you think that Jackie Brown is one of Tarantino's best there in the chats.
Of course. Well, look, I'm talking with Marique and Brody. They agree with me, so we're just having a little chit chat. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I'm glad you could have that chit chat.
Now watch
how great it is.
Watch Jackie Brown, and I guarantee you, she's gonna move up your list to at least number 4.
Kevin, I'll rewatch it, and here's the deal.
Okay.
If it does not change my opinion, I get to slap your mouth as hard as I want.
Okay, you know what? In exchange for that, if I rewatch Once Upon a Time in Mexico, because I know we had a little argument about that,
I'll get to slap your mouth as hard as I want.
Oh, please.
I mean, that's the same thing, right?
No. I'll backhand slap you. You kidding me?
We'll give it a try.
You're gonna pimp slap him?
Yeah, I'm gonna pimp slap him.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so the movie's gotten Kevin pretty bold. So get this
man,
off the screen.
This is an underrated movie from 25 years ago this year. So people, if you don't like it, just rewatch it. You might believe what I'm saying.
If you don't like it, go F yourself. Oh, wait, no,
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Okay, well, you could say that about number 2, I guess, which everybody knows now what number 1 is, but number 2 is Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. I prefer Reservoir Dogs over Pulp Fiction.
Oh, Rob actually, by the way, Rob has not seen Jackie Brown. He says he's going to watch it with me. That sounds like a great idea, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
He didn't say he liked it, Kevin. He said he'll watch it with me.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm glad he's going to watch it and check it out. Give it a chance.
Oh, okay. All right, so number 2, Pulp Fiction. I believe I had it pretty high up. I had it on my number 3, just under Hateful Eight. So it's pretty high up for me. I know it was pretty high up for Jarrett. I believe Chris had it pretty high. Kevin had it pretty high. That's why it's ranking pretty high.
I had it more middle, believe it or not.
Which one of us put it as number 1?
I had it as 1.
Okay.
Because just because to me it's like, whereas Reservoir Dogs was the film that he broke out with, Pulp Fiction was the film that made him like a star. It's like the ultimate
famous
and defined his style like completely
non-linear filmmaking.
Like solidified it, because you got it in Reservoir Dogs, and then he like solidified it with this film. It also showed that he could move around. Like we said, Reservoir Dogs was in this one spot for the most part, where this, like, you kind of travel around Los Angeles with these different characters. And, we look at it as kind of normal now, but it wasn't a normal thing to have like 2 hitmen be like main characters and like guys you're kind of rooting for in some weird way. Or
the dialogue. Jules Winfield, Samuel Jackson's character. I mean, he has memorable dialogue, no doubt.
Marcellus Wallace, you actually, by the time what happens to him with the Gimp and Zed and all that stuff, you're like, yeah, dude, like, I'm on your side. Like, kill these guys, like
the briefcase, you see the gold light.
This was a Renaissance career changer for John Travolta. It reinvigorated him. It brought back. Travolta went on a tear after this and was in dozens of films, and still to this day is relatively regarded as a very solid, very, very good actor. And it's interesting how one little film can do all that, And
by the way, in real life, he's a very nice man. I remember many years ago at the ArcLight, he came for a Q&A for, I think it was called The Ballad for Bobby Lawn or something like that. And when it was over, he stayed, and anyone who wanted to come up and just shake his hand or talk to him, take a picture, he did that. He was very kind. He was just shaking people's hands. Oh, you're like my favorite actor. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, ma'am. I really appreciate it. And his security guard was trying to get him to keep, hey, let's go. Like, no, just a few more minutes. Let me just talk to these people. And just very, very, very much a gentleman. So I was very impressed by Mr. Travolta.
Maybe one of the most quoted films. I mean, like,
the last 30 years, yeah.
So many quotes in this movie. I mean, just like, I mean, from one thing to the next, but I don't know. Like, this is how crazy I was for this film. Okay, so I'm a cheeseburger fanatic, right? I love cheeseburgers. The way they made that cheeseburger, that Big Kahuna burger look in the film, made me go like, I need to get a cheeseburger in my mouth right now. I used to go when I was in high school. I'd come home from like a party or whatever. I'd stop at McDonald's, get a couple double cheeseburgers. I'd pop on Pulp Fiction and start watching it. And I'd wait until the scene happened. And that's when I would open my cheeseburger and have it, and then watch the rest of the film. That film, I don't know. It was just so much fun. It's like, the dialogue is great. I don't know. I love it. It's a good.
That's why he won the Oscar for best original screenplay.
Rob says, speaking of Pulp Fiction, personally, I think Bruce Willis, this is one of his best performances. He's top notch in every frame.
I agree. I think he's great in it. Yeah.
And Marique says, Jarrett, we can be burger buddies. It had the same effect on me. So you guys will be having some Royale with cheeses.
A tasty burger.
Having yourself a good time watching Pulp Fiction. Parents saw it. They thought it was different. They still enjoyed it, which is cool. And anybody else have any other memories that they want to talk about.
I remember Marique wanted me to exchange the DVD for a Blu-ray for an old friend. I remember that. But I did keep the little booklet in there because like they always have some cool artwork for DVDs and Blu-rays when it comes to these movies.
It's a great
I
story.
remember going to the 101 Cafe because of that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
That's right. That's right. A lot of people did that. They went to the 101. I remember you talking about that, Chris, actually.
And then it became a haunt. And then I loved it. I fell in love with it. It was such a good place. I was like, then I started going all the time. But yeah, I went there. I was like, oh, it's a Pulp Fiction restaurant. I got to go there.
Swingers, too. They use that place in Swingers, too.
Yeah, they used that. And they also used, what was that, the Ace of Clubs, I think was the other place in Swingers.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a bar that they used. So, interesting. Yes, and Christopher Walken's up his ass speech with the watch.
You give me a watch.
Yes, thank you, Rob, for bringing that up. I almost forgot about that. Jesus, that's criminal. Yeah, it's funny because after that scene, I had to have an intervention with Kevin because he just kept sticking things up his ass.
What?
And it just wasn't, it didn't stop with watches. It was like pens and erasers and...
Terry, you give me the watch.
We filmed and the SD card went missing and sure as shit, it was up Kevin's ass.
Yes, I'm sure it was.
Oh.
I'm sure in your dreams that's what you saw.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Lots of things shoved up Kevin's ass. So.
You know, you have a vivid imagination, I must say, Mr. Donald.
The 101 Cafe, Marique, did close down
They reopened it.
a while ago. Did it? Did they reopen it?
Reopened. They got new owners.
After the pandemic or before? Yeah? Oh, excellent. Okay. I'll have to go check it out. The Ace of Clubs, I believe, is still open as well. I think they kept it open, and I don't think anything happened to it. And Caleb says, Kevin, you dirty dog.
Don't believe these rumors, these accusations. They're
So
false.
many things up his ass, let me tell you. Okay, so that leaves just one film at the top. One film to rule them all. Actually, two films combined. When we had them split, if I recall, when we had them split, Kill Bill Volume 2 was number 1 on the list, where Kill Bill Volume 1 was number 4.
Yeah.
Split apart by just a few votes between Pulp Fiction and Jackie Brown. Number 2 always resonated a little higher with me because it was more wordy. It just felt like the more educational part of the show, the more dialogue, story-driven side with really good acting, whereas the first was a lot of fun, bloody action, slice and dice type enjoyment.
Old Kung Fu.
Right, so it just had a little flavor. Interestingly enough, I did a little survey over time and found that Volume 1 seemed to resonate the most with women, and Volume 2 seemed to resonate the most with men. So
that's interesting.
Take from that what you will, but that's just the way it worked in my little thing that I did there, where my little trivia quiz that I used to do with people, particularly men and women, about Kill Bill. But when we combined them, then it put it at number 1 still, because Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, 1 can't be 1 without 2, and 2 can't be 2 without 1. It's just seen as the most superior film out of all of Tarantino's. His love letter to cinema in general, whether it be dialogue or action or kung fu or western, it's all in there, everything. And it is probably the finest film that we've ever seen Mr. Kung Fu himself starring, so to speak. Mr. Kill Bill.
David Carradine.
Kill Bill himself, David Carradine.
God rest his soul.
Yes, God rest his soul. I actually met him while I was in line trying to get into an Upright Citizens Brigade show there on Franklin one evening, standing in line, and he walked past asking what was going on and should he get in line.
There you go. And what's cool about his character, him being the head of this Viper, the Viper assassination squad, is that he doesn't really come off as a villain per se. You know, he's just that's the funny thing about it. And that's also the most dangerous thing about him.
Well, he doesn't come off like a villain, but he's apologetic. Let's just say that he has remorse for what he did.
Right.
I mean, that opening line is great. I mean, that this is me at my most sadistic, and then boom, like that. This film. So I saw part one. Obviously, I saw it. I didn't see it in the theater because I was like, I don't know. Something about me was like, I don't know about this. What's he doing here? I saw it and I was like, okay, that was a lot of fun. But I can see why this is going to have a volume 2 and why this was supposed to be. And then once I saw volume 2, I said, yeah, that is. Even though it's like, how long is it altogether?
4 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I said that's a 4-hour, 5-minute film, complete. I mean, it's like you kind of have to have them together to make the film complete. Like, so I get why Tarantino wanted that, and I also wouldn't take anything out. So I say, yeah, you got to make it a full film, and he counts it as a full film, and he wanted it as a full film.
Yeah.
But
When I recall, they came out like a month apart or 2 months or something like that.
4 months.
Was it 4 months? Okay.
yeah,
like 4 months apart.
Yeah, they gave it plenty of time for the film to get seen by everybody and to anticipate the second one coming out. This is the first time, and as long as I can remember, that they ever did anything like that, to where they showed
the Matrix movies, the Matrix Revolutions and Reloaded, they did something similar.
This is the first time in any time that I can remember that they actually did anything like that with a film.
Back to the Future 2 and 3, they kind of did the same thing too.
This is the first time that Donald remembers. I just remember watching Volume 2 and I'm like, how are they gonna make because everybody was these deadly assassins, and then when they got to Michael Madsen, I love that they just made him this loser, still deadly.
And he stole his sword. He stole his Hanzo sword.
Stole his Hanzo sword, and his just low life working as security at a strip club in the middle of nowhere, getting yelled at by his boss, and you're like, it's just so good.
How useful was he?
Oh God,
a little useful. I mean, he was pretty smart. He was ready.
As useful as an asshole. Right here.
Right here.
Yeah. Right here.
Oh God.
Oh, we can't forget.
So good. You work today? No, you don't. Oh yeah, you work Saturday? No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
This is how you got to do with these kids. You got to fuck with their money.
We can't forget the female members. Lucy Liu was great as Orenishi.
Mm-hmm.
That whole fight sequence in Japan. Oh my God, man! When they went at it in their final sequence,
fantastic!
Awesome. Cinematography was beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Unbelievable.
Uma Thurman's finest role, I'd say, still to this day.
Yes.
Her finest role.
Although I thought she was great in Gattaca too, but yes, this one definitely tops it.
Uma Thurman's finest role to this day.
I agree. I just said Gattaca's good too.
Uma Thurman's finest role to this day.
Fine. Fine. Also, let's give some love to Daryl Hannah as Elle Driver.
Absolutely.
In Volume 2, she was awesome. Especially when she got her eye plucked out, it was freaking hilarious.
Brody just mentioned it. Daryl Hannah, killer fight scene. And Marique said M. Parks was pretty captivating too.
Oh, Michael Parks. Yeah, Michael Parks playing the sheriff and the pimp at the end. And if you look at them together, I'm still like, how is that the same actor? It's in.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays that just. Oh God, he's so good. He's so good at that.
And then Gordon Liu as one of my favorite Grandmasters of Martial Arts, Pai Mei.
And the man himself, oh God, what's his name? Sonny Chiba as Han.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Especially when they're speaking Japanese to each other when they're in the sushi bar.
Oh, very good.
They broke English. It was just hilarious. It was so funny.
Yeah. And the whole history of the swords themselves, of the sword maker, just the story of Bill, the story that Carradine told about Superman, to this day I still talk about.
Yeah.
About how Superman, his real identity on Earth is Superman, and his actual superhero disguise is basically Clark Kent.
Yep.
Because he's not normal, he's not human. That's his disguise. That's what he puts on when he goes out in the world.
And yet another of a few comic references that Tarantino puts in his films, like Reservoir Dogs, we were saying, talks about Fantastic Four, talks about Silver Surfer.
Yeah, the poster in Tim Roth's. Yeah, yep, I remember that.
Yeah.
And he says, "Motherfucker looks like the Thing." He's talking about the.
We always.
And then he insulted. He called her the invisible bitch.
We always love to, bring it back somehow to comic book love, and you can always see that there's some form of inspirational moment that happens in film that comes from comic books, or can be seen as coming from comic books, even if it's not stated as such. Which is why we love comic books so much. It's such a strong medium that you can draw so many things from, so many sources, so much information, inspiration. It's just fantastic. So. We love that, and we love most of Tarantino's films. There are a few misses, but even his misses can oftentimes be seen as better quality films than a lot of other directors.
He doesn't make bad films. I think we could all agree on that. He doesn't make bad films.
No, and there's always something that you can find in every film of his that you enjoy. I think even though I didn't care much for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the whole Bruce Lee fight scene I thought was fantastic. Even the ending, though redundant to me in my head, I still enjoyed, with the flamethrower and everything. The whole story of of Brad Pitt's character and stuff I found to be interesting. So there's always something you can take away from his films. And he does love Hollywood. He does love the rich history of it, and you can definitely tell that in that, which is why we wanted to bring this kind of spotlight to it. So... thank you for being part of this.
And one last thing, rumor has it, there's supposed to be a Kill Bill Volume 3 involving Vivica Fox's daughter, Vernita Green's character,
and
looking for revenge.
I personally think that would be his best film for a 10th film. Kill Bill Volume 3, just seal that out with some, because he can do whatever the hell he wants in that film, make it once again, combine a bunch of different genres and just go to town. I think that would be a great 10th.
Yep, and he wouldn't have to necessarily draw on a historical moment and change it in order to do so. Yeah. Which I think if we look at what we like the least, that's probably it, just based upon our rankings in general, if you look at that. So as long as that doesn't take place, I think it's golden.
There's also one genre he hasn't tackled yet. I just thought about this. That's a science fiction fantasy realm. Yeah, something in space or something like that.
Well, he did want to do a Star Trek film, if we recall.
Right.
That got kind of shelved, but we'll see. Maybe he'll produce a series or something, and that'll happen. But anyway, take some time to give us a like and a follow on here on YouTube if you haven't. Tell your friends about us if you have yet to do so. Let them know about the Real Short Box, about our live shows. Next week, we've got an interesting topic. Chris, what's the topic next week?
You're muted, Professor Turner.
Sorry, I keep muting myself on accident. I believe isn't it our favorite TV movie, Castles?
Yes.
It's gonna be
Castles from entertainment of any sort, kind of.
Yeah. Video games, TV, movies.
By the way, Jarrett, Marie says she just watched True Romance for the first time and it blew her mind. So there you go.
Clarence in Alabama, right there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Next week we have famous television and film Castles that we're going to be discussing. That'll be a fun one. If you like that one, then you can watch our previous live podcast where we talked about our favorite swords, which a lot of times those swords have to be used inside of castles. So check that one out also. You can find these live podcasts almost every Monday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, YouTube Live. We are doing a whole host of short box shorts is what I like to call them. Just basic, quick, 10 to 12 minute, 15 minute little podcasts that we do, video podcasts where we talk about a hot topic and then just explain, a hot take on that and what we think. So do check out some of ours. Our latest one just popped out yesterday. It dropped. It was Disney, Do They Own Too Much? So check that out on YouTube. We are also doing our audio podcasts all the time. You can find those on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher, Blueberry, a whole host of podcast platforms, Amazon, Google, and so on and so forth. If you can't find us, let us know and we'll get on there. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for supporting our sponsors, Splattered Frog Brewing Company and Half's Hot Sauce. They appreciate you as well. Thank you for supporting the comic book industry. Without them, we wouldn't have a lot of this inspiration, so we do appreciate that. Visit your local comic shop if you can, and thank you. And with that, my name is Donald.
I'm Jarrett.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Chris. And I'm an interrupter.
And if we don't see you out and about anytime soon, perhaps we'll see you
at the adventurous, crazy, delightful, but sometimes bloody comic book.
Torture you. I'll torture you at the shop.
Good night, everybody.